Well, it happened. I predicted before the start of the season that Tony Romo, coming off back surgery last December, would get hurt, would get crushed this year. I had a feeling that Romo was going to be hurt worse, and I had a feeling he was going to be hurt much earlier in the season. And I, like many, had no idea. I never would have guessed the Cowboys would have put themselves in a 6-1 position going into Monday night's game against their rival Redskins. So the Cowboys have exceeded mine and I think almost everybody's expectations this year. But I did predict that Tony Romo would get hurt. How serious is this injury? Will he be able to go on? And will he be able to play? I break down a couple of fourth quarter plays after Romo came back into the game and take a look at his decision making in that fourth quarter. Right here on my channel, I talk about the Monday night loss the Cowboys suffered to the Redskins. Let's go ahead and start out with the good news about the Cowboys. DeMarco Murray, obviously the huge bright spot in the Cowboys offense this season. DeMarco Murray has been a baller, a huge stud, running behind their Cowboys' big, massive offensive line. The offensive line is starting to see some bruises and nicks and bruises right now, though, as they lost Doug Free already a couple weeks back, and now last night they lost Leary. So we'll see how soon Leary can come back with a groin injury and when Doug Free can actually return. Hopefully he can return in the next couple of weeks and, re-solidify that offensive line, because that is the secret to DeMarco Murray's success. He recently bought his old offensive line brand new $1,400 computers as a present once he surpassed the record of 6 opening games of 100 yards or more when he got that 7th 100-yard game last week. There was news reports of him buying his whole offensive line brand new $1,400 computers as a thank you. And that was a pretty cool deal from DeMarco Murray to do. But let's talk about DeMarco Murray right now because yesterday he was absolutely the king of the offense and the offensive production. And it's a wonder to me why the Cowboys resorted to passing the ball in overtime rather than handing the ball off a few more times to their biggest playmaker on the offense. DeMarco Murray finished yesterday with 19 rushes for 141 yards. That is a massive average. If we take that, I don't have it here on my stats, but if I divide 141 divided by 19, I get 7.42 yards per carry average last night. So last night he was averaging almost 7.5 yards per carry. Unbelievable. But you also add in Murray as a receiving threat. Last night he caught just 4 receptions, but blitzed the Washington defense for 80 yards on those 4 receptions. One of them went for 34 yards. Murray continues to be unbelievable this season, making a huge threat to any defense that goes against the Cowboys. Last night, even though the Redskins won the game, they had a huge monster in DeMarco Murray running for almost 7.5 yards average per carry, 80 yards receiving, 141 rushing, 221 total yards. That's more than 50% of the Cowboys' offense last night. He is obviously a huge threat to anybody, and he's going to continue to be the number one focus for most defenses to try to stop. This should open up the passing game, and this has been a reason that Romo has been a more effective this year and not made so many critical, interceptions and plays that have cost the Cowboys the game, because Romo is not putting everything on his shoulders as much with the big offensive line protecting him more, but mainly with DeMarco Murray taking a lot of heat and a lot of pressure off of Romo and making defenses, really think about having to stop the run. I want to go ahead and talk about the injuries that Dallas had last night as well, and they're starting to pile up a little bit And obviously, when Romo went down, that was a huge concern. That's where most of the Cowboy fans across the nation went silent and, just had to watch with despair, I guess you could say, because that is one thing we do not want to lose, as well as Romo's been performing this year. He has been clutch on so many plays and thrown so many rocket passes right on the money when the Cowboys have needed him the most to win games. So I don't think any real Cowboy fan out there was hoping and praying and going, yeah, yeah, we want Whedon to come in. Yeah, I was waiting for this Whedon to come in. No. If you're a real Cowboy fan, if you know football, seeing Romo go down last night is not at all what you want to see with Cowboys. I don't think anybody believes that Whedon can come in and perform as well as Romo has all season long. Now, no discredit to Brandon Whedon. Brandon Whedon came in and he did a fine job in the couple of drives that he did play. You couldn't expect him to do any better than he did. A lot of that was running, but the passes that he did throw, he threw well. I can't say that he threw any pass bad, and he threw to the open receiver, and he threw good passes on the few passes that he did throw. And, I think he hit 6 of 9 for like 69 yards, including the touchdown. So that was a touchdown pass to Jason Witten. So he did well enough. And Romo went out and basically was pleading his way. You could see him on the sidelines pleading his way to come back into the game to play again against the Redskins, much like he did last year in that Week 16 game against the Redskins when he came back and threw that pass to DeMarco Murray that ended up winning the game. And, you got to give all the credit to Romo. I think he has all the heart in the world. I think he definitely is a star player. He plays with his heart. He plays with emotion, and you got to love the guy. If you're a Cowboys fan, the same reason we love Romo, or the same reason I love Romo anyway, I'm not going to say everybody does, but I think it's the same reason that so many people hate him, especially of opposing teams, because he is a baller. It's kind of like Brett Favre. Brett Favre, people either loved him, or they hated him. But they didn't hate him because he sucked. No, they hated him because he was a guy that could come back and beat their team. But yeah, I love his ability, his willingness to play through excruciating pain to try to come back and make a play for the Cowboys or try to come back and win a game for the Cowboys. Don't know yet if Romo is going to play Sunday. Jason Garrett did say that, the x-ray came back negative last night. It's going to depend a lot on, how Romo is feeling the next couple of days. And they did some more extensive tests. They haven't got the results back as of today. But hopefully by, within a day or two, we'll get some, feedback on how those tests, came back for Romo. And if he'll be able to play, they'll also know how he's doing in practice and if he's able to play in practice and stuff like that. But I'm guessing that he's going to probably be having to play, if he does play against Arizona Sunday, he's probably going to have some more of those pain-killing shots so that he can go out there and perform. And let's hope the offensive line can play better and, pick up the blitzes a little bit better than they did last night, because Washington continued to bury Romo. Every time they did a full blitz, it was like almost every time they just completely surprised Romo and got to him. Even with Romo going out, though, I want to go ahead and talk about our biggest loss by far last night, and that was the Cowboys' loss on defense to Justin Durant, number 52. He's their weak side linebacker, and so far this season, he has been the leading tackler. A lot of people think that Rolando McClain has been the best, the biggest breakout star on the defense, but I don't know. Justin Durant has been almost in every play. He's by far their leading tackler on defense, and he's become somewhat of a team leader, they're saying, on that defense. He went out last night when he tore his bicep, and he's expected to miss the remaining season, the remainder of the season. So that means the Cowboys are likely going to have to turn to Kyle Wilber to come in. They're probably going to put him on the strong side and then flip Carter back over to the weak side. and we're talking about Bruce Carter, that is. And then, that could also put Rolando McClain uh, on the field as well, especially when the Cowboys run their nickel defense. They also could choose to bring back rookie Anthony Hitchens on the weak side and leave Bruce Carter right where he is. But it seems like Hitchens is kind of fallen, and the Cowboys are probably going to decide to go with Kyle Wilber, who has a lot more experience. The Cowboys relied on Kyle Wilber quite a bit last year as well, when the defense started going astray and we started getting a lot of injuries piled up last year. The Cowboys also last night lost Ron Leary. He's a left guard, and they had to put in Mackenzie Bernardo during the overtime snaps. And it might be one of the reasons that Romo, had quite as much pressure as he did. But when you have an all-out blitz, I mean, you have to be ready to get rid of the ball. And there was just a few plays there, at least 3 or 4, where Romo just completely didn't see the full blitz, and the guy got to Romo like he didn't even see him coming. So you got to credit Washington, defensive coordinator for Washington, for being able to do that to Romo, for having a good game plan coming in and being able to blitz him at the right time. It seems like they showed blitz a lot to keep the Cowboys on their toes. So the Cowboys never really knew if the Redskins were going to bring a full-out blitz or if they were going to fall back in coverage. So they were able to confuse Romo and the Cowboys on several plays and cut down on the Cowboys, especially their third down, effectiveness, because the Cowboys going into this game were by far leading the NFL on third down efficiency. And the Redskins defense, with their game plan, were able to significantly cut down on that and put Cowboys in punting situations. So credit the defense of the Redskins for that, and that's a big reason why Washington won the game last night. Now let's go ahead and get on to what I saw when watching the game in the fourth quarter, especially, not in the fourth quarter, but in overtime. The Cowboys did get the ball back. They had it back on like their 9-yard line with like a minute and 52, and it was 17-17. Cowboys could have just gotten field goal range and won the game, but they were unable to do so with the time remaining. And so the game went into overtime. The Redskins went down and was able to kick a field goal. Thankfully, we stopped them from getting a touchdown. So the Cowboys, had the opportunity to get the ball and come back, and all they needed to do was go down and either kick a field goal to tie it up or go down and score a touchdown. They started at their own 20-yard line with a touchback after the kickoff, after the field goal, so it was 20-17 Redskins. They kicked off the Cowboys. Cowboys came out, started at their 20-yard line. First play, run to Murray. He ran a little bit to the right and up the middle and slashed the defense for 7 yards on first down. Awesome job. Second down and 3. They didn't hand the ball off to Murray, but instead they did. Murray ran basically to the outside, and they threw the screen pass, up to him, and he was tackled immediately. Put him in a 3rd and 7. I think the first play, Murray actually rushed for 8 yards, and then on that screen to the right side from Romo up to Murray, I believe he lost a yard, so that put him down at 3rd and 3. And that's the play that I want to go ahead and talk about right now. And looking at that, if we look at that here, you can see that it's 3rd down and 3. It's overtime. There's still 8.5 minutes left. There's no reason to hurry. You can see the yellow marker here on the screen. This is as Romo starts to snap the ball. And I think pretty much most people expected the Cowboys to pass here. I don't know why they did. It looked like the Redskins here, you can see them kind of loading up. Redskins were probably expecting a run to Murray as well. They were definitely ready for it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next play, or the next position. This is after Romo snaps the ball. Okay, he's definitely going to go into a pass. They got Murray coming up, and he's going to be a blocker on number 25 on the defense up there. And you can see up to the top is Dez Bryant. Over the middle here, in the middle, you definitely see Jason Witten. And you can see Cole Beasley running down right above the 20 on the Washington scoreboard. You can see Cole Beasley running down there to Romo's left. Let's go ahead and move to the next position in this play. Now right here you see Romo is surveying the field, but you can see who he's looking at. He's looking right at Jason Witten, okay? And he's not looking at Cole Beasley down at the bottom, who I believe would have been open for a first down. But I think that Romo's primary target, or the target he should have thrown here to, is their leading star on offense, and that is Dez Bryant up at the top. If you can see here, he has a blocker in Murray right there in front of him. And Romo is focused on Jason Witten, who is going to be covered very tight on this play. Let's go ahead and move to the next screen. Here you see, sure enough, that's exactly where Romo threw to. It's the ball's right over the blue line there. And Witten, being the stud he is getting ready to catch the ball, but you can see he has a defender right on him already. Look up at Dez Bryant, however, though. You can see Dez Bryant with Murray in for a blocker. Dez Bryant could have been the best receiver to throw to there. If he would have caught the ball probably a little past the blue line, and he would have easily made a first down with his speed, as long as Romo had thrown the ball in front of him on that slant. I also think that throwing to Cole Beasley down at the very bottom at the yellow line probably would have been a very safe throw, and it also would have been a first down there. But Romo threw to Witten. I can't blame him. I mean, Witten has been so reliable, but Witten on this play was by far the most covered receiver that he could have thrown to. He definitely should have thrown to Bryant or Cole Beasley at the bottom. And we see that right here, the defender is able to keep Witten from catching the ball. The ball is already going off of his fingertips. Again, you see Dez Bryant open, and that's where the ball should have been right there. And that would have easily been a first down. Bryant would have easily ran that. If he had thrown to Bryant, Murray would have already been blocking that defender closest to Murray. Murray would have already been in front of him blocking, and Dez Bryant easily probably would have scored he probably would have got to the 35 or 40 yard line if he had thrown to Dez Bryant. Same thing with Beasley. If he would have thrown to Beasley over there, he's probably going to get at least to the 35 yard line. But you can see it looks like Beasley is turned towards Romo right there. Beasley's waiting for the pass, and the pass goes up there to Witten. And here it is. Ball's was knocked out away from Witten because the defender again was right there. And I'm sure Beasley is going, what the heck, man? Why didn't you throw to me? So, I don't know that Romo wasn't under a lot of duress here on this play. He had pretty good protection on this particular play, and he missed a couple of open guys. I think Dez Bryant or Cole Beasley, either one, would have been a lot better option on that particular play. So I do wonder if after he came back in last night, if he was more focused on the pains in his back than he was on throwing the ball to the most open receiver. It does make you wonder. Let's go ahead and look here, though, at the very next play. Dallas has to have this play, 4th down and 3. And so, again, it's going to be a passing situation. Of course, Dallas is going to go for it because they have to at least kick a field goal, get down close enough to kick a field goal to even tie the game up. Otherwise, the game's over. Cowboys have to have this play. Romo's getting ready for the snap. I'm going to go ahead and go through this play a little bit quicker. And this is the play where Romo had a lot of pressure on him eventually. But right here, as you can see, he's looking and he's focused. It looks like he's focused on Dez Bryant here rather than the best option, who is Devin Street. I believe it's Devin Street down there, right at about where it says 4th and 3, right in front of that. Number 15, Devin Street, is wide open right there. Again, it looks like Devin Street's open. It looks like Cole Beasley is right there in the middle. He is definitely covered. He has 2 Redskins right on him. And Dez Bryant, who Romo is looking at, is covered. If Romo had just looked to his left a little bit, I know he probably doesn't trust or have a lot of game time or a lot of throws to Devin Street. Devin Street's a rookie this year. But it does look like his best option here on this 4th down play. As you can see right here, Williams is covered by the Redskin right in front of him. There is absolutely nobody on Devin Street down there. As you can see, Cole Beasley is double covered. Bryant is also covered. And number 55 for the Redskins, he's watching where Romo throws the ball, and he's going to go cover either Bryant or Beasley on that particular play. Here's where Romo ended up throwing the ball into a well-covered Dez Bryant, and the ball was, smacked away from him because the defenders were ready. So that's the way the game ended. But if you look back down here, if Romo had only looked to his left before he even had all the pressure, before he's having to spin around and make dodges and misses and everything like that, Devon Street looked like he was pretty wide open, and that would have been a first down because he was already past that first down marker. So, I don't know that late in the game in overtime if Romo, and I didn't look at every single play, in the fourth quarter and everything like that after Romo came back, but I did look at the last few plays, and it didn't look to me like Romo was seeing the field as clearly as he might have had he not come back in with the back injury. If you listen to me over all my videos, you know that I absolutely love Romo. I think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. But, I can understand and I respect and I appreciate him coming back in and trying to help the Cowboys win. But, one has to wonder if Brandon Weeden, who, I don't have a lot of respect for, but I do wonder if Brandon Weeden might have been able to lead the team with all the stars Dallas has on offense. Weeden might have been able to hand the ball off more to Murray, get the ball more to Murray, and the Cowboys might have got down, at least enough to kick a game-tying field goal, or perhaps even won the game. Who knows? I mean, we'll never know. But at least on these two plays, I certainly don't think Romo was seeing all his best options clearly on that third and fourth down, the final two plays of overtime. So I'd like to know what you guys think about this. I'd like to know what you guys think of the Cowboys' loss last night. It didn't really surprise me a whole lot. The Cowboys are definitely going to have to play a lot better, next week, and they're going to have to continue to rely on the run. The Cowboys in overtime got away from relying and depending on DeMarco Murray and seemed to get in a pass attitude where they thought they had to pass every play, even on the second down and 2 after DeMarco ran for 8 yards on that first carry. They was in a pass, and Romo did end up throwing up to Murray, but I think they were actually looking to throw the ball perhaps downfield to Dez Bryant or, Jason Witten or Williams or somebody like that. I think that was probably their hope on second and 2 was to throw the ball deep. And I don't know why Dallas got into that mindset of thinking they had to throw the ball because they had plenty of time left. And I think they probably should have ran the ball on second and 2 to Murray again. I mean, just kept feeding the ball. I mean, he's averaged 7.5 yards a carry. I don't know why the Cowboys got into the mindset that they had to pass the ball. They certainly had plenty of time. Unbelievable, if you ask me, after Murray was doing so well last night. Anyway, it is what it is. And we have to hope that Romo can come back and look better and not be in as much pain next week against Arizona if we're going to have a chance. And we're going to have to hope that the Cowboys' defense is on the field less. That's one of the reasons the Cowboys lost this game. If I look at the stats, I believe that Washington held the ball for a good portion of that game. Let's take a look here. I do got the stats right here. Oops. Yeah. Time of possession last night. Yeah, if we look at the time of possession last night, Washington held the ball for over 38 minutes to 28 minutes and 37 seconds for the Cowboys. So Washington had the ball more, and the Cowboys have been winning the game by running the ball more than they did last night and having a higher time of possession, giving their defense more time to rest. And last night, the Cowboys' defense was on the field a majority of the time, and I think that's also a big reason that the Cowboys lost last night. They weren't as balanced. They didn't run the ball quite as much. They did run the ball, a lot, but DeMarco Murray didn't even have 20 rushes, and I think the Cowboys always need at least 20 rushes to Murray to have their best chance to win, especially when he's running for 7.5 yards a pop. Want to go ahead and give credit to the game plan coming in for the Redskins, however, and certainly to Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy last night had a huge game. This was his best game in the NFL by far. Colt McCoy has never had a better game in his NFL career than he had last night, coming in as a third-string quarterback for the Redskins. He threw 25 out of 30 passes. That is a huge statistical percentage of completions and 299 yards. So Colt McCoy was definitely the hero for the Redskins, if you ask me. And he was able to pick out a huge number of different receivers. If we look at the receivers, he had Jackson, who blitzes for 136 yards, but he threw to Garcon, Reed, Paul, Halou, Morris, Young, and Roberts. And, just a huge number. He was also able to run the ball several times and burn the Cowboys for first downs. McCoy had a great game last night, so hats off to him. Anyway, we'll see how the Cowboys prepare. We'll see if Romo's going to be able to play next week. We'll see if we can get, Doug Free back on offense and Leary back on offense as well. Hopefully we can solidify that offensive line, and Dallas can keep the mindset to run the ball and give Murray the ball. That's our best chance of winning next week against the Cardinals. We'll see how we do. We'll see, if all these Cowboys can come back, if, Romo can come back and play, if Leary can come back, and maybe if we can get Doug Free back. That would definitely increase our chances of victory against Arizona. But if the Cowboys play like they did last night, next week Arizona is going to blow the Cowboys away. Cowboys are going to have to be a lot more prepared for the Cardinals than they were for the Redskins last night. Anyway, go ahead and put your feedback down below, your comments. Be sure you give this video a rating. If you like this video, please let me know. That does help me more than you know. It just takes a couple of seconds to hit that thumbs up, guys. And if you're not subscribed, definitely do that. I am doing this TnT, Cowboys TnT, which I call Thoughts and Talk. I'm doing this every single week, every single Cowboys game after the game. A lot of times I do it the day after the game. I don't do it immediately because I don't want to be an emotional mess and not be able to give you guys my clear thoughts on how the game went. I'd rather give you guys my real thoughts rather than just thoughts based on emotion or, everybody's emotional after they watch their Cowboy, not their Cowboys, but their team either win or lose a game. And you can't carry that. I like to kind of analyze, my thoughts and analyze what actually happened before I make a video. But I do make one of these videos after every Cowboy game this year, and I've been doing that since game one. Anyway, thanks so much. This has been kind of a long video. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much, you guys. We'll see you next week after the Cowboys play the Cardinals, and hopefully that won't be an emotional video for me to make even the day after. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care, everybody.